Veganism isn't a fad. It's here to stay. It is a movement based in truth, science, morals, and environmental awareness. The impact of humans basically being physiological, psychological, biochemical, monogastric herbivores is, you know, is here to stay. The science is in. Okay, the experts are no longer arguing about this. They're all going vegan because they realize that humans are physiological, psychological, monogastric herbivores. You can't deny this. The science proves it. If you think I'm wrong, please just keep listening. We would have a culture around killing and eating animals if we actually were physiological, psychological, psychological in the mind. We actually had, instincts and emotions surrounding wanting to kill and eat other life forms, as far as, not plants, animals. So it's basically, we would have the same way kids have field trips to go pick strawberries, they would have field trips to go see slaughterhouses and factory farms or whatever, however we did it. And I'm sure it would probably evolve at this point into some sort of open, free range, pick a gun out and shoot them when you want, or get your knife or some stuff, or some people would do it with their, if we actually had claws or large, canines for actually ripping and tearing apart flesh, then we'd have that, and then we wouldn't see people actually dropping dead from all these chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, atherosclerosis, basically the atherosclerotic plaque and lesions building up, basically inflaming the entire arterial tree. The list goes on here, people. How about the fact that there's parasites, bacteria and viruses in this meat? That's why we usually cook it. And then if we don't, and we usually cook it. You guys cook it. I don't cook it. I don't eat it anymore. I grew up eating this stuff. Believe me. I used to love cheeseburgers and beef jerky and ice cream. But now I have vegan alternatives for all those things. So yeah. Anyways, if I want them, anyways, I'm Whole Foods now. So I'm not even interested in the whole processed food shaped thing. It's all just about just whole raw food, whole raw and cooked foods for me now. But anyways, think of all the people with back pain, which I hear is caused by clogging up the back arteries and causing lack of blood flow to, important muscles and tissue back there, and even, the tissue, essentially the ligaments, or not the ligaments, the vertebrae and shit. This is ridiculous to me now. This is so blatantly obvious that humans are, herbivores by nature, and by, essentially, design or creation or evolution or whatever you want to go by, but yeah, it's just when people are wondering why they're all even depressed and anxious and stuff, this even goes into the whole way emotions and thoughts impact, the world around you. You could walk into a room and feel good vibes or bad vibes. You ever met somebody you just knew was kind of they either had a really good vibe about them or really bad vibe about them? Even these people that throughout history that are able to get, really influential, famous, popular, powerful, etc., because they have a certain energy about them that allows them to, attract people, and, of course, they make enemies, of course. You can't do anything in this world without making enemies, because, believe it or not, if vegans that listen to this, you're wondering why the world's all fucked up with carnism, it's because the world is run by criminals who want to convince you that eating meat is healthy, necessary, natural, and they themselves do the same thing because they too are, for the most part, Carnist belief, or the dominant base belief system. That's why, they own you with the tax farm slavery, but that's another topic. Anyways, veganism is here to stay. It's basically the new anti-slave movement that they had back a couple centuries ago in America. It's basically the same thing, but now it's for the animals, trying to get rid of that. So yeah, anybody who thinks veganism is just a fad diet thing that's going to die out and they'll eventually all go back to vegan, or the vegans are going to be sick and die off or some shit, no. Yeah, there's vegans that don't know what they're doing and they go on the diet and they don't know how to do it properly because they don't, download the proper diet apps, or they don't, just understand basic, simple eating. For me, it's pretty simple now, what I need to eat in a day to be healthy, but, so it's basically just, what the fuck do you guys think? Seriously, do you really think that this planet is going to be able to sustain 7 billion people that all want to eat as much meat as they want? You think somehow that the paleo diet is actually, natural and like it's like, oh, cave people did it. Well, let me tell you some things. Cave people lived to about 30 years old back then. Okay, the paleo diet for me is stupid as fuck because honestly, do you think predators had successful hunts every single day? No, they didn't. So cave people, with their sharpened tools and their spears and shit, are not going to be catching the prey that there was back then, especially because back then creatures were generally larger too and stronger, and like it's ridiculous. So like if we're going back like thousands of years or tens of thousands or millions of years or whatever back in evolutionary times, but like the whole idea that even we got our big brains from eating meat. Well, newsflash, we would have needed big brains to control fire and make tools in order to actually kill those animals because we don't have any claws, we can't run fast, we can't sprint for very long. Even if we can't, even if when we can go run fast, it's not for very long. Like, we are meant to be, generally quite, fast and agile in the trees, I think, as far as like the whole, the great ape kind of history thing. And like we have the eyes that can see different colored fruits, so we can pick the different colored fruits and vegetables that are around us, and then of course the other like leafy greens that we, they're good for us too, and the nuts and seeds and all that good stuff and legumes, and like this is so blatantly obvious to me now, and like it's also, like going back to the environmental impact, like it's destroying our world. Like we are literally cutting down the rainforest so we can mostly, for most of it's just for grazing cattle, okay? Like the desertification or whatever the hell is basically making like the prairies and certain parts of land just like desert because overgrazing and just like after years and years of millions of cattle just coming through there and constantly stomping on it and grazing the fuck out of it every year, it just gets all dusted up and blown away and banged up because of all these cattle that are just being constantly passed through there. Like it's not a natural environment. If the cattle were actually allowed to behave naturally like the bison did, they'd be migrating a little bit and they'd be, it'd be a natural environment, you know what I mean? So it's really pathetic the way mankind has this whole idea that veganism is just like some sort of thing that just is going to go away, and that vegans are even like, trying to, make vegans feel bad for calling carnists immoral, unhealthy, and unsustainable, environmentally destructive, people. Like especially the moral part's really big right now. But as the scientific part, the actual health-related pathology, psychology, physiology, biochemistry of this kind of stuff creeps into it more and more. It's going to be a lot more interesting to see people wake up as they just realize that going vegan is going to save your life, because eating dead animal flesh and baby cow growth fluid and chicken periods is not healthy in the least bit. Like, we make our own cholesterol, so we don't need to consume cholesterol whatsoever. People that think we do are just misinformed and confused, and I understand there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to go vegan, and they're going to feel weird, they're going to be a little bit even, feel unhealthy and weak for a while, because after so many years of, it's like an addiction. Your body adjusts to putting this shit into your body. As a herbivore that's been driving meat, dairy, and eggs into your body 3 times a day or more, you are welcoming, or not welcoming, you're forcing your body to, you're welcoming disease, of course, and chronic illness, like atherosclerosis is a fact with that. But it also comes down to, what the hell was it? Your body adjusts to it. It's like smoking. When I first tried smoking, it sucked and made me throw up and shit, kind of, almost, and it made me dizzy. And then after that, I got used to it, especially with drinking and socializing, and here and there, a smoke here and there, finish one here, and then after a while, I'm smoking, a couple cigarettes a day, and then I could get up to half a pack a day at the, when I was at my peak, and then even at parties, it could be a whole pack. So it was stupid, but I did it, and then I got over it, and I'm not smoking anymore. So it's just at the end of the day, your body adjusts to it, though. Your body says, okay, you're going to be doing this to me. You're doing this to me every day now, it seems, so I'm going to make you enjoy it. You're going to feel good when you do it, because you're going to release hormones. Of course, not to mention the different chemicals and hormones that are also present in the animal flesh and in the baby cow growth fluid and in the chicken periods, that is causing people to, it sort of gives them this kind of weird, it's not like a euphoria, but it's just a mild chemical release, in their body and brains that gives them, a bit of pleasure and enjoyment from it. It's like a mild addiction, essentially, that, of course, doing it every day, multiple times a day usually, for years on end, it's going to result in that. And people get all frustrated and offensive or defensive about this because, oh, you call me addict and a meat addict, and oh, you're calling me immoral, and yeah, like, sorry, when you're full of shit, and you know you're full of shit, and then you can't admit it to yourself, and then you call somebody else a piece of shit for, calling you out on your shit, then that's gonna happen because you're just so full of shit. The only thing that comes back out of you is more shit. It's sad until you like reflect on it or realize it or just whatever, deal with your cognitive dissonance in your own way. But I'm just tired of the bullshit, so that's why I made this video. But yeah, like, I'm gonna keep reiterating more points here. If you guys want to turn this off, whatever, just gonna be reinforcing more shit if you guys are interested in this stuff. But yeah, like, going back to the field trip thing and the psychology of this, people are disgusted by rotten meat. Like, you see rotten meat on the counter with flies around it and maggots growing on it. Do you feel like, is that appealing to you? Some people have been trying to convince themselves that they do find it appealing. I know there's rotten eat meters out there. I won't say any names. Sure, yeah. But, and, but yeah, like, it's ridiculous, guys. You can't keep doing this shit thinking it is fucking healthy and safe and moral and environmentally sustainable. Like, eating rotten meat, are you kidding me? Like, that shit smells so disgusting to nearly everybody on the planet. Like, come on. Like, it's brutal. Like, fish are sentient, or not fish, like, fish and all life are sentient creatures that feel pain. Like, they run away from pain, they bleed when you cut them, they have nervous systems and brains, they cry, they express emotion. Like, people love cat and dog videos. Funny cat, dog, pet bird, pet fish, oh, that's so cute, little hamster, ferret, oh yeah. But somehow it's, fuck cows, chickens, and pigs, they taste good, bacon, let's eat them. What the fuck is that? Really? Are you kidding me? Like, this is the level of intelligence and, like, morals mankind's evolved to in the 2018 now. 2018, and mankind is sitting there going, I love, like, fuck certain animals, they taste so good, bacon, cheeseburgers, beef jerky, and then, but oh, I love my dog, I love my cat, my little hamster when I was growing up is great. Like, really? Really? Like, that's some really nice cognitive dissonance you got going on there. How's the social engineering? Like, how is a social engineering program that's been done to your brain by yourself and everybody else that's just, like, convinced, like, do you realize that, like the way the system's been working, the criminal elite doing this shit that have been convincing people into this crap are, this right now, conspiracy people are going, oh, he's getting conspiracies again. Yeah, you dumb fucks, conspiracies are real. If you think that two or more people just can't get together in secret, more or less, and devise plans that's gonna, like, benefit them and possibly fuck over everybody else, then, like, really? You think that doesn't happen in this world? You think that people don't get together in groups and do things together? You just think all conspiracies are bullshit? Yeah, nice denying reality there, buddy. You fucking moron. But anyways, so we gotta get back to the reality of the situation where there's been social engineering and eugenics program and epigenetics program going on for a long time. If you don't know what eugenics is, and it's basically like, good genes, or beneficial, healthy genes, essentially, like, quote unquote, and that's what these social engineers have been promoting and pushing for, decades now. By, epigenetics is basically, people themselves, with their own behaviors and lifestyles and choices, promote their own good genes themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's simple to understand if you can, like, smart people having lots of kids, and, smart, strong people that are able, like, intelligent, compassionate people, like, not just smart, you can be smart and be a fucking dick. Hitler was smart, Stalin was smart, you know what I mean? So fuck off with that shit. But, it comes down to, being able to socially engineer people to be, either they promote their own suicide or they promote their own self-growth. And basically what's happening to the masses is that they've been promoted to be suicidal by, like, what's illegal and illegal. Tobacco is legal, alcohol is legal, porn is fine, entertainment's fine, sports, media, all this stuff, but what's illegal? Owning, like, beneficial, harmless plants like marijuana for the most part in this world, and, other, psychedelics that people just trip out on, but nobody's ever overdosed and died, but everybody thinks that for some reason you'll get high on these drugs and you'll commit suicide or kill your friend or jump off a bridge thinking you can fly or some bullshit. Like, yeah, it does happen on very rare occasions of people who can't handle really intense things that can be really intense if you take too much. Like, oh yeah, I can handle it, and then next thing you know, you're being a fucking idiot. Like, yeah, it happens, but the people that are responsible with these things, they experience often like great things, deep emotional, spiritual breakthroughs. Like it's not just, yeah. So anyways, like social engineering, you can't do like even the everything's licensed, taxed, permits, certificates, the list goes on, and people think somehow that they just trust authority and think authority is going to tell them the truth, and that if they don't figure it out for themselves, it's okay because somebody else is thinking for them. Yeah, well, good job not thinking for yourself. That's why you're in the situation, thinking that eating meat, dairy, and eggs is somehow healthy for you, and that you're going to be, smart and free as a tax farm state as sheep. So, like, it's a joke. Yeah, sorry for getting off on a little tangent there about, the whole system, but I really want to sort of share the truth to people about why this world is the way it is, and sort of share with vegans why carnism is the way it is the way it is. It's not just some conspiracy shit too. It's just people wanting to promote that whole master slave thinking, because that's just how consciousness evolved. It tries to evolve out of stupid bad belief systems, and that's how the universe works. Like the whole universe right now is dealing with growing pains, and that's infinite. Like that's never going to end either. It's infinitely growing until it dies or whatever, burns out and starts new or whatever. Like this universes, multiverses I should say, are cool as fuck. But yeah, like it's really just fascinating to see how all this plays out, and I just really hope people can sort of see the environmental impact is massive, the moral impact, the insane cruelty of factory farms, and cutting off beaks and castration and cutting off tails and grinding up male chicks and veal, and raping the mother and raping cows for milk, and the list goes on. Like the fur trade, and fishing is fucked. Like fishing is so destructive to the environment. Like you gotta be kidding me. So yeah, like this is just we've got to do this shit. If you're vegan anarchist and you find this interesting, my talking, hope maybe I suggest you subscribe, or even just comment or like or something, and share too. Like we got to share this shit. Oh, excuse me, but yeah, like enough's enough. We just can't keep pretending that somehow, there's so many passive vegans out there that just are vegan, but they don't want to talk about it. Like, don't be afraid to share what you think. Even if you think you're a little bit wrong, or you're not entirely sure, talk about it and see who is interested in it, and then figure it out together maybe. That's why the internet's so amazing. We can do this together. That's why I will respond to anybody's comments on this video. And it's just, enough's enough. We can't be doing this thinking that, this is somehow letting carnists just sort of keep doing this shit. We got to keep pushing. We got to eventually make eating animals illegal, because it's immoral as fuck. It's unnecessary. It's unhealthy. Eating meat is basically the new smoking. It really is. I know it sounds extreme and shit, but it really is. It's unhealthy. It's immoral. It's unsustainable, and it has to end, or it will end mankind. The carnists that think, oh fuck it, I'll just keep eating meat till I die off. Good job. You keep doing that until it becomes illegal. I'm saying, I shouldn't be saying that because it's horrible. Please stop eating the animals. It's so unhealthy for you, immoral as fuck. It's so unethical to fucking kill needlessly for your taste pleasure, and it's not even taste pleasure because you got to cook it and season and salt the fuck out of it so you can even taste the shit. Or even cure it and let it rot for a while. Are you kidding me? Marinating and smoking and all this shit. Why can't we just eat it the way it is? No, we can do that with fruits and veggies, but oh no, we can't do that with meat because it'll kill us if it's raw, and you can't even taste it, and it's disgusting, and it's hard to chew, and all this shit. People how many people every year choke on eating meat? Look it up. Most people that die choking are choking on meat, literally. It's not so little kids are dying from this shit. The innocents being born into this bullshit right now, thinking that somehow it's all this nonsense dominating beliefs are somehow going to be justified and they're okay. It's dark and disturbing. So, yeah, we can't keep doing this. It's got to change. So, yeah. Fucking, I hope everybody enjoyed this. Veganism isn't a fad. It's a movement for the ending of unhealthy lifestyle as far as diet, and also ending the animal holocaust and slavery and all that bullshit, and that immoral, absolutely immoral as fuck, stuff, and then also the whole environmental impact. There ain't no way in hell we can support carnism on this planet We need a fucking second planet, basically, if we had 7 billion Carnists that all want to fucking continue to drive dead animal flesh into their bellies, let alone also the monumental costs of producing all the drugs and shit and the medical bills to do all the surgeries and shit to keep them alive. Like, fuck. So, yeah, people, we can't keep doing this. This is just a joke. Go vegan. Realize that government too is not going to fix anything. It's just a bunch of criminals in charge of you guys, telling you that they need you to be like basically not telling you that you need them, because there's other criminals besides them that are going to hurt you. So they're the criminals to protect and pay homage to with their fiat currency, Federal Reserve, legal name fraud system, Federal Reserve banking fraud system. But it's enough's enough, and the more the Carnists just die off, and then of course all the other crap that just keeps happening, more people will wake up and see the light and the truth and science and history behind veganism and statism, and veganism and carnism and statism and anarchy or anarchony, and essentially just voluntarism versus statism. Statism essentially is just a belief that everybody, or the belief in authority, that somehow other people are better than you, and you can just let them do the thinking and power, and you can just give your power to them. Oh, I'll vote for a politician and he'll represent me and he'll make the change for me. I won't do it. I won't actually clean up the parks or stop the criminals or stay vigilant or play some vital role in this whole fight against, fight for freedom and vigilance for freedom, because that's what you need, is endless vigilance for freedom. No, I won't do that. I'll just, let my politician and the police and military or whatever do that for me, and then expect me to be somehow, secure and responsible and free and all that shit, which has never worked throughout history, ever. It happens to some people for a little bit if they do it right, but then it just falls apart because it's human nature to naturally fuck people over. Social Darwinism and moral relativism and survivalism are very real things that people just sort of fall into very easily, because it's how we got to this point of survival. Surviving to the top of the food chain, quote unquote. It's just, yeah. So, we really got to snap out of this, and veganism is a movement that's here to stay. And I know it won't end in some sort of stupid war on the streets for the animals. I'm sure it'll just end with the Carnists dying off as veganism just sort of takes over, as the vegans live longer, keep sharing their message, the ones that are actually activists with this, with their vegan, whatever they're doing, speeches or rants or YouTube, or just standing there in the streets with your, with your screens. I've seen that shit, guys. That's awesome. So everybody who's doing this shit, the vegan activists and anarchist activists, that you know who you are. You guys are the shit. Feel free to comment, subscribe, or if not, because you guys are busy, probably as fuck too, I'm sure. So yeah, do your thing. Understanding, compassion, truth, love, vegan anarchy, voluntarism, redundancy. Peace.